Next question.
What advice can you give on push-ups and bench press for shoulder and pec injuries / recovery?
Okay, real quick, for all injuries, what I say is do what you can. And do what you can without hurting yourself. So, for instance, if you can't do a full push-up because it hurts your shoulder, guess what? Do a quarter push-up and do a bunch of them. And just get that range of motion. You're not going to get a full workout, but get that range of motion, get it working, and then maybe in a week you can do a half push-up. And then you do half push-ups. And then in another 3 weeks you can do a 3/4 push-up, and then eventually you can do a full push-up, and then you start doing your deep push-ups in between rings or whatever, and you get it back. That's what I do. I do that with every body part that I have that might be injured for whatever reason. I do what I can.
Yeah.
I do what I can. And specifically, I'll tell you what, bench press, I would use dumbbells and not barbell, because a barbell locks your arm into position, and this is very similar to an Americana or a Kimura. Both of those submission moves in jiu-jitsu are based on the same kind of general range of motion as a bench press. There's definitely something different about it, and obviously you can do bench press. I mean, people bench press, hundreds and hundreds of pounds on a barbell, so it can be done, but essentially it is a similar motion. If you're like with an Americana, which is a submission hold in jiu-jitsu, if you can move where your wrist is, it doesn't hurt at all. If you put your wrist up by your head, it doesn't hurt at all. That person can do an Americana all day. Once you bring it down, now it submits you. And that's the way I look at a barbell, and that's why I haven't done barbell bench press in I don't even know how long, especially like a going for max. I haven't done that. I don't even remember the last time I did it. But for any of these injuries that you might have, do what you can. Use the range of motion that you can. Don't re-injure yourself. Don't be stupid. Yeah. But if it hurts your knee when you get to a half a squat, do a quarter squat, or do a 3/8 squat. Yeah. So that's what I recommend to get through those. Yeah,
and it's that's kind of the thing. And I know this and I had knee surgery, and I had a quick recovery, and the reason that was because you got to be smart, just like you're saying, you got to be smart about I had knee surgery. I'm not going to go max squat, 4 weeks later, kind of thing. So you take it slow, but at the same time, you treat it like a workout.
You do serious, you be serious about it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly sure. Right. So some people, I forget when I don't know if I said it on here, but where people would get a shoulder injury, for example, and part of the rehab is like these stabilizations for your core, and they'll be like, I'm gonna skip that day because I don't feel anything. That's ab muscles. Why would I do that? I have a shoulder injury, so I'm gonna skip that, and I'll, the next day I'll do my little shoulder exercises. I'll go through the motions, and that's it. But if you treat it like a for real workout, like where you stretch it, you kind of push yourself, not in weight, but you do range them. Motion. You do them all, range of motion, all that stuff. Every element of your rehab has to be real important to you, including the consistency. Yep. And if you do it that way, that'll be how. To me, and I don't know the history of this question or nothing, but bench press for shoulder injuries and recovery.
Not good.
They don't. That's not a hand-in-hand thing. Like, so if you're concerned about whether or not to get your bench back up after you have a shoulder injury, okay, but the bench has nothing to do with recovery from shoulder injury. What you do is all the little stabilization muscles in there, like these weird motions and stuff like that. Because a lot of times that's where
another good compliment to this is I had a shoulder injury, and it hurt really bad to do regular push-ups, but I could do ring push-ups because it allows you to move away from those range of motions that hurt you. So that's good. But bench press for shoulders, not good. I had a new guy officer in Ramadi who had showed up during deployment, and he had a bad shoulder for something. He's like, "Hey sir, I was wondering if you give me any good, exercises I could do for my shoulder, which I have, a bad shoulder." And I was like, "Yeah, do muscle ups." And he kind of looked at me a little strange, and then later realized that I was having fun. That's a joke. Yeah, that's a joke. Luckily he didn't heed my advice at the time.
Yeah.
He just thought, wow, this guy's insane. So
shoulder injuries, rotators, any rotator stuff like this, like like a throwing ball motion, just controlled in it. That's gonna get you back.
Yeah. And you can recover them. You can recover from it.
And that's the thing. And again, you have just treat those rehab, because there's nothing glamorous about that throwing motion, actually like a rotator cuff exercises. There's nothing alpha. Exactly, right? So people will be like, I'm not doing that.
No,
when I go in the I'm benching as the I'm doing some military press.
Steel.
Yeah. But if you do Sarge like demonstrating, so I had a kind of an injured shoulder like from the day before, and Sarge was like, dang, Sarge demonstrates kind of heavy-handedly, and he rips my shoulder out, and I felt it pop out. I was like, man, so now I can't lift anything above my head. So all I did was that rotator cuff. It's like a program. It's like this way, front, back, and then down here this way. Anyway, did that, and it was only for like 2 weeks, and it was just back.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Sarge moved to Connecticut because he's one of my favorite training partners.
Yeah. He gives you an accurate look.
After it.
Yeah.
And when he gets, when he's like his go-to, because he wrestled and he's got a sick double, he would just get in this double leg mode, and he'd get up or something, like we'd be scrambling, he'd get up, and I'd see the look on his face, and I'd go, here it comes, and he'd blast that double.
I remember
hit that so hard, launch me.
I remember one time I rolled with him, and I think you may have like seen part of it or something, and you were like, oh, how was it rolling with Sarge? I was like, yeah, you know how you kind of explain how the roll went or whatever, and I was like, yeah, man, and then he turned on this mode. You were like, oh yeah, he Sarged out on me.
The funniest, did you ever see him do that slingshot? So he used to have this defense from getting triangled, and he would just I can't really explain it, but he would basically launch the other human being across the mat, and it was awesome. Whenever I'd see somebody lock up and he didn't care, like they'd put a triangle on him, and he'd do the slingshot, and you just laugh at it because he's getting ready to launch somebody. So check.
Sarged out.
Got a school in Connecticut, by the way. If you're in Connecticut, you can go train there.
What is it? What's it called? I didn't know that.
It's called Jiu-Jitsu Life. That's what it's called.
Dang. There you go.
Yeah. One of my old teammates and one of my longtime training partners to get some with.